Welcome to Health Journey, where we bring you science-backed health information to help you live a healthier and longer life. Today we're talking about something that affects more than half of men by age 60 and nearly all of them by age 80, the gradual enlargement of the prostate gland known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's not cancer. It doesn't turn into cancer, but it can quietly steal your sleep, your confidence, and your quality of life if you ignore it. And yes, we're going to look closely at one particular nut that has drawn attention for its potential role in supporting prostate health. We'll examine the real science, not the hype, so you can decide what makes sense for your own body. Let's start with the gland itself. The prostate is a small, walnut-sized organ that sits just below the bladder and surrounds the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body. Its main job is to produce fluid that nourishes and protects sperm. When you're young, it stays relatively quiet. As the years pass, something shifts. Cells inside the prostate begin to multiply. The gland slowly grows. For some men, the growth is mild and never causes trouble. For others, it presses on the urethra enough to create those classic lower urinary tract symptoms: a hesitant start, a weak or stop-and-start stream, the feeling that you never quite empty the bladder, the urgent need to go, and those middle-of-the-night trips that leave you exhausted the next day. Why does this happen? Scientists still don't have a single perfect answer, but the leading explanation involves the natural changes in hormone balance that come with aging. Testosterone is converted inside the prostate into a more potent form called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. DHT stimulates the growth of prostate cells. At the same time, the ratio of estrogen relative to testosterone rises slightly. These hormonal shifts, combined with low-grade inflammation and oxidative stress inside the tissue, create an environment where cells keep dividing instead of turning over in a healthy way. Age is the biggest non-modifiable risk factor. Family history also plays a role. If your father or brothers develop symptomatic BPH, your own risk is higher. There are modifiable factors too. Men who carry excess weight around the midsection, especially those with metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, abnormal cholesterol, tend to have larger prostates and more bothersome symptoms. A sedentary lifestyle is linked to higher risk. Diets heavy in red meat, processed foods, and refined carbohydrates appear to favor inflammation, while diets rich in vegetables, fruits, and certain healthy fats seem more protective. Chronic constipation can put extra pressure on the pelvic floor and worsen urinary symptoms. Even some common medications, antihistamines, decongestants, certain antidepressants, can tighten the muscles around the bladder outlet and make symptoms feel worse overnight. Early warning signs are easy to dismiss. You might notice you need to pee a little more often during the day, or you wake once at night instead of sleeping straight through. Maybe the stream feels a bit weaker than it used to, or you have to wait a second before anything starts. Many men tell themselves it's just age or that they drank too much coffee. But these small changes are the body's way of saying the prostate is beginning to change shape and size. Paying attention early gives you more options. As the condition progresses, the symptoms become harder to ignore. Frequency and urgency increase. Nocturia, waking 2 or more times at night, becomes routine. The stream weakens further. You may feel residual urine left behind, which raises the risk of urinary tract infections. In more advanced cases, the bladder itself can thicken and lose strength, or urine can back up toward the kidneys. None of this happens overnight, and none of it is inevitable. That's the part most men never hear. Now let's talk about the science behind one food that has generated real interest: Brazil nuts. These large, creamy nuts from the Amazon are the richest natural food source of the mineral selenium on the planet. A single Brazil nut can contain anywhere from about 60 to 90 micrograms of selenium, depending on the soil it grew in. Selenium is an essential trace mineral that the body uses to build a family of proteins called selenoproteins. Several of these proteins act as powerful antioxidants inside cells, helping neutralize free radicals that can damage tissue and promote chronic inflammation. The prostate is particularly sensitive to oxidative stress. Observational studies have found that men with higher blood levels of selenium tend to have a lower risk of developing symptomatic BPH. Some laboratory and animal research suggests that adequate selenium may help moderate the growth signals that drive prostate enlargement. There is also limited human data linking selenium status to prostate volume and urinary flow, though the evidence is not yet as strong or consistent as the data for certain other interventions. Here's the important part: more is not better. Selenium has a relatively narrow therapeutic window. Eating 1 or at most 2 Brazil nuts a day is generally enough to reach the amount associated with supportive effects in research. Going far beyond that on a regular basis can push intake into a range where selenium toxicity becomes possible, symptoms that can include brittle nails, hair loss, and in extreme cases, neurological issues. So the just one nut idea is not marketing fluff. It's a practical upper boundary based on the nutrient's potency. Brazil nuts are not a magic cure, and no responsible clinician would claim that eating them alone will shrink an already enlarged prostate the way certain prescription medications can. What they can do is contribute to a nutritional environment that supports healthier prostate tissue over time. Think of them as one tool in a larger toolkit rather than a standalone solution. That larger toolkit includes other foods with stronger clinical backing for symptom relief. Pumpkin seeds and pumpkin seed extracts have been studied in multiple human trials. Men who took standardized pumpkin seed extracts for several months often reported meaningful improvements in international prostate symptom scores, better urinary flow, and fewer nighttime awakenings. The seeds are rich in phytosterols, zinc, and healthy fats that appear to support bladder and prostate function. Tomatoes and cooked tomato products supply lycopene, a carotenoid that concentrates in prostate tissue and has antioxidant properties. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts contain compounds that help the body metabolize hormones in a favorable way. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines provide omega-3 fatty acids that help calm systemic inflammation. Green tea and its catechins have shown modest benefits in some prostate studies. A pattern that emphasizes whole plant foods, healthy fats, and limited processed meat consistently shows up as protective in the research. Lifestyle habits matter just as much as food. Regular physical activity, especially a mix of aerobic exercise and strength training, is linked to lower risk of bothersome BPH symptoms. Even brisk walking most days of the week makes a difference. Maintaining a healthy body weight reduces the hormonal and inflammatory load on the prostate. Managing blood sugar and blood pressure protects the blood vessels that supply the pelvic organs. Pelvic floor exercises, often called Kegels, can improve bladder control and the feeling of complete emptying. Double voiding, urinating, waiting a moment, then trying again, helps some men leave less residual urine behind. Limiting fluids in the 2 hours before bed, cutting back on caffeine and alcohol, especially in the evening, and treating constipation promptly all reduce the daily burden on the urinary system. Common myths need clearing up. One widespread belief is that an enlarged prostate automatically means cancer risk is high. That is not true. BPH and prostate cancer can coexist, but one does not cause the other. Another myth is that all prostate supplements work the same. Saw palmetto, once the most popular herbal option, has largely failed to show benefit over placebo in well-designed trials. Beta-sitosterol and certain pumpkin seed preparations have better evidence. A third myth is that you should never touch caffeine or spicy foods again. Moderate amounts during the day are fine for most men. The key is timing and individual tolerance. Finally, many men assume that once symptoms appear, only medication or surgery can help. Lifestyle and dietary changes can meaningfully improve quality of life for men with mild to moderate symptoms and may delay the need for more aggressive treatment. Practical daily tips are simple to start. Keep a small container of Brazil nuts at home and eat one with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack, no more than 1 or 2. Add a handful of pumpkin seeds to salads, yogurt, or oatmeal several times a week. Cook with tomato sauce or roasted tomatoes regularly. Aim for at least 30 minutes of movement most days. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to track nighttime bathroom trips for a week. The pattern itself can motivate change. Stay hydrated during the day so the urine is not concentrated, then taper fluids later. If you take medications for blood pressure, allergies, or mood, ask your doctor whether any of them might be worsening urinary symptoms. Sometimes a switch makes a noticeable difference. Key takeaways are straightforward. Benign prostatic hyperplasia is extremely common and driven largely by age-related hormonal changes, inflammation, and lifestyle factors. Early attention to symptoms gives you the greatest chance to slow progression. One Brazil nut a day can help maintain healthy selenium status, which research links to better prostate outcomes, but it works best as part of a broader pattern of nutrition and habits. Pumpkin seeds, lycopene-rich foods, physical activity, weight management, and smart fluid timing all have supporting evidence. No food or supplement replaces professional medical care. If symptoms are bothersome, worsening, or accompanied by blood in the urine, pain, or inability to urinate, see a healthcare professional promptly. Medications such as alpha blockers and 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, and when needed, procedures ranging from minimally invasive options to surgery, remain important tools that have helped millions of men regain control. You do not have to accept interrupted sleep and daily frustration as the only future available to you. The prostate responds to the environment you create through food, movement, and daily choices. Small, consistent actions compound over months and years. One nut will not transform everything overnight, but the decision to start paying attention can. Take what you've learned today, talk with your doctor about what fits your personal health picture, and begin making the changes that feel realistic for your life. Your future self, better rested, more confident, and freer to enjoy the days and nights ahead, will thank you. If this information helped you understand your body better, please like the video so more men can find it. Subscribe to Health Journey for more science-backed guidance on living healthier longer. Drop a comment below and tell us which tip you're going to try first, or share your own experience so others know they're not alone. And if you know someone who might benefit from this conversation, share the video with them. We're all on this health journey together.